All right, well, good afternoon. I'm still in Austin, going to be here for the full weekend, but was just able to connect with Brock Purdy over Zoom. Matt Barrows and I, my colleague at The Athletic, were able to talk to Brock for a few minutes, and there are a few updates. We're working on the article right now on The Athletic. I'll come back on live after that's up, so you can go ahead and check it out because there is some good news with Brock Purdy. The rehab is going as scheduled. And he actually thinks this to me is big. Brock Purdy, I asked him straight up, he believes he can come back with a stronger arm following elbow rehab. So, you know what, just about a month, a little bit more following his elbow surgery, Brock Purdy is in position right now with the rehab. He's feeling good about it here in the initial weeks to the point where he says, yeah, this is a baseball type of injury. Obviously, Keith Meisters, the Texas Rangers team physician who did the initial surgery. He's also working with Keith Coker, who's a physical therapist who works with baseball players. You see pitchers come back stronger with stronger arms, able to throw harder following some of these elbow reconstructions. And I'm not saying that Purdy's was a full elbow reconstruction. It's the internal brace, but there is optimism from him that he indeed can come back stronger. And I know that addresses, I think, some questions about, he's going to have a weaker arm following this. No, there's actually optimism that the opposite can be true. So, well, I mean, that's all that we know so far about the rehab. Brock said he's taking it day to day. There is, that upper end, that ceiling optimism that he does have, that he can come back throwing a little bit harder. But we'll see. As long as everything's on track, I think that the 49ers can breathe easier about all of this. Now, Purdy is going to be in the 49ers facility starting next week for phase one of the offseason program. Not OTAs yet, but phase one begins on April 17th. And Purdy is going to be in Santa Clara for this, which is, I think, significant because there was some thought that maybe he would just stay in Arizona and rehab. But it's going well enough that he can be in Santa Clara, continuing his rehab, but most importantly, doing his extra film and QB read work with Kyle Shanahan. One of the big criticisms of Brock Purdy's play later in the year, and there wasn't a whole lot of criticism. He was obviously really, really good for the 49ers, but there was some thought that he was starting to miss first reads, that he was making plays a little bit more complicated than they had to be. Right. There was the touchdown against the Raiders that I asked him specifically about today, where he found George Kittle in the back of the end zone as the fifth eligible on the play. But he probably should have gone to Juwan Jennings on the first read, quick out pattern that would have scored a much easier touchdown. Kyle Shanahan wasn't all too happy about it, right? But then Brock Purdy did the ice in his veins gesture, and Kyle just couldn't help but crack up on the sideline. It was a laughing matter then, but moving forward, Shanahan would like to see Purdy not make plays more difficult than they have to be. Anyway, to get to that point, he's got to do the mental work. He's got to make sure that he's completely in line with what Kyle Shanahan wants offensively, and he's been able to do more of that. I asked Brock about this. He's been able to do more of that while he's been hurt, kind of like Trey Lance, right? Trey Lance was hurt with the ankle last year, got to do more film work. Well, Brock Purdy's approaching things in a similar fashion. Now he has a little bit more time on his hands. Obviously, there's rehab, but he's not able to be out there physically throwing the football. So he's there learning Kyle Shanahan's playbook. And really, he obviously knows the playbook at a level to run the offense, but he's perfecting his knowledge now. So he's making the right read every time once he's able to come back. And the fact that he's going to be able to be in the 49ers facility, that the rehab is going well enough for that, that's going to allow for this. More one-on-one time with the coaching staff, more time to do the brain work that is necessary to take the next step as an NFL quarterback. Finally, Brock Purdy's been in frequent contact with Trey Lance, who's also rehabbing, but from a different injury. And obviously Lance is much further along. Lance should be ready for OTAs next month. But for, everybody talking about animosity or, wanting to create drama between the 49ers two quarterbacks, and there's a third one now in Sam Darnold, I don't think it's there. I think that there's a collaborative process going on in this quarterback room. Oftentimes, NFL buildings don't work the way that fans think they do or want them to work just for the sake of drama. Purdy and Lance got along very well last season. I think Purdy's actually a little bit older than Trey Lance, which made Trey a little bit upset in a joking manner last year, even though he was drafted a year after that. But, I mean, basically two young quarterbacks, both trying to make it in the NFL, both recovering from injuries last season. And even though they haven't been in the same spot, Trey Lance currently here in Texas. He's been working out at TCU with Jeff Christensen, who was actually Jimmy Garoppolo's original quarterback's coach. Brock Purdy's been rehabbing in Arizona. They've been sharing notes. they've been talking over the course of this offseason. And I think that's something that the 49ers are probably happy about because they try to foster that productive dynamic. They want that good workplace dynamic, especially within the QB room when you do have three contenders for this job, right? You have Purdy, you have Sam Darnold, and you have Trey Lance. I think that cohesion is a good thing. They had cohesion when Jimmy Garoppolo was in there with Trey Lance and then with Brock Purdy. And now I think that the 49ers are aiming for that very, very similar dynamic. And it does sound like they have it. So anyway, just interviewed Brock Purdy. Article coming up on The Athletic soon. That's some of the intel. We're going to delve into much more of this, and I'll promote it with another video when it does come out. So Purdy's going to be in the 49ers facility for phase one. Everybody like the video, sub to the channel. We will talk to you very soon. Oh, and Purdy, he came on courtesy Buffalo Wild Wings. Got a shout out to them. It was good stuff. All right, everybody take care.